Hi guys, welcome back to Midweek Meta. I am your host, Maddie, and I am joined by my two wonderful co-hosts. I've got Adam here and Chris.
Hey, what's up?
Hey guys.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Any new decks? Any new brews? What's going on?
Man, I've been bouncing around. I've been playing Kinnan. I've been playing Blue Farm, and I'm kind of really liking Blue Farm. It's definitely a different shift to have something that's not so linear, and man, the mulligans, it's something.
You always need a blue farm player. in any ALGS, you need the top decks.
Dude, there's no way to know how that deck works until you're playing it because you don't get to see anything they're doing. There's so little board presence and so much in their hand. You either think that they always have the best cards in their hand, they don't have anything in their hands, and watching the way that they're shifting things around and which direction they're moving, you can kind of learn it. I think playing a deck is the best way to learn a deck.
So what about you, Chris? What's new on you? You've been doing a lot of editing, which is awesome, man. I can't thank you enough. You put so much out, and we appreciate you here.
Of course. No, been working on some different merch ideas right now for the channel. So trying to get some playmats, some hats, some jackets, some T-shirts. So working on some different deals like that. Working as well to try and hopefully go out east and meet some of you guys later this year. So
More news on that too. We'll keep this. We'll update you when we get some more news on that.
There's a lot of good tournaments coming up. It's gonna be.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah,
it's really hard to choose. And
well, it's not hard to choose what to do for Memorial Weekend. You know what we're doing?
We're going to be at the 10K.
Oh, I'm going to Lango No, we're going to
be at the Salt City 10K.
We're going to be at the Salt City 10K. Our homies, John and Daniel, are throwing Utah's first 10K cEDH event. This is going to be awesome. It's a little convention.
They're going for it.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a convention. It is super cool. You can check it out. We have some videos before on it. But let's talk about it real quick. It is $150. What does that give you, Adam, when you pay $150 for this tournament?
So you get entry to the 10K. You get the redemption event the next day. That's taken care of already.
Okay.
The hotel's got they're gonna have food there. There's playmats available. They're gonna have a couple of different playmats.
Wait, you say playmats? Like, do I just get a playmat for
it's
showing up?
It's just a blank black playmat.
Okay, dude, I've been looking for black.
Gold Sabertooth on his live stream last week put together a amazing mat. It looks awesome. It was really fun to see all of the pieces of Utah being put together with it, and it was fun. So and then there's another playmat. Tell us about that one.
Dude, this one we saw it last night. We got a little sneak peek of it. It is Underworld Breach, done by the artist. It is literally you guys know I don't like red, but I am literally considering running that card just to run that mat with it. It is that nice.
I'll put it in Magda now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're running Breach.
When I saw it, I thought it was the secret layer art, and I was like, oh crap, I actually got to go to secret layer now. It looks good.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, it is definitely fire.
It's better.
Okay, so what else? So you got the event, you have the hotel.
The cool thing about the hotel is it's really close to the airport, and they've got a shuttle set up. So if you're coming in from the airport, free shuttle back and forth. It really is just an all-encompassing. You come here for the weekend. There's a bar, restaurant, pool. They're doing a pool party, so they're gonna have pizza and get to hang out with people and just interact. Yeah, it's a whole weekend convention. It's more than just showing up to a tournament and
so when you say conventions, that mean there's going to be like vendors?
There's going to be vendors. There's going to be artists. There's going to be altars. There's going to be everything you want.
There's going to be your bed.
Yeah.
The worst thing that happens is like, cool, people want to stay up late, and I'm an old man. I want to go to bed at 9 so I can wake up and be fresh. I don't need to wait for someone in their car. I can go up to my room by myself.
Chris is going to be able to go take a nappy at 9.
Yes.
Come meet us at the pool at 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Editing. Why not? But it's awesome that everything's like contained in that little spot. Oh, yeah. You don't have to do much. Fly in, play, take a nap, go play some more.
Traveling to LobbyCon is unfortunate. Being able to do it in-house, that's going to be great. There's going to be a lot of good games.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to see a bunch of you guys out there. Come
Absolutely.
Say what's up. If everything works out, if Chris isn't looking at me angrily, I think we're going to have some cool setups. So maybe get some interviews in, guys. Come say what's up.
Absolutely.
But you guys, we've been yapping a little bit about this 10K. But you know what we didn't do about this 10K? We did not BS on it. But what we are going to talk about is the difference between yapping versus BSing in politics and cEDH.
So let's define the difference between yapping,
100%.
BS, and politics, because I think they're pretty three strong differences.
They're all politics.
It's all politics. It falls under politics.
Everything from sitting down, shaking hands, greeting each other. You can use all that information.
Politicking is the broad stream. That is a form. It is part of our format.
Okay.
But in my opinion, there is yapping, BSing, and gaslighting. We're not gonna get in gaslighting because we don't have time to talk about that. But yapping versus BSing, in my opinion, is yapping is when you have to talk about it. You have to explain, why am I putting this on the stack? Why am I doing this? Why am I going through the whole motion? I'm going to give you 16 scenarios of why I need to land this Archon of Emeria. But if I BS, oh, you got to let me do this so I can do that. And you, what's that? Oh, that's BS. Yeah, no, you don't. You don't need to do that. It happened yesterday. I was playing with Ryan, and I was like, let me attack him with my 1/1 so I can get more cards. And Ryan's like, you have a Delny out. You're already getting 2 draws, dog. I was like, I know, I just want more draws.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's some BS. Yeah.
That was definitely BS, and that is my difference. But you two, how do you define the two between the two?
Man, I would say like yapping, I have a hard time. I get a little bored when nothing's happening in the game and things are passing around, and I'll start just small chatting and I'll just start talking about things outside of the game. And I got to be careful to not delay the game, especially when we're on a timer. There's a lot of things that you can do that are you're hurting yourself, especially if you're in a more assertive deck. Just not being concise and quick about not only your play, but also just the way that you're talking about things. Something can come down. There's 50 different ways that this could happen. We could talk about all 50 of them, and we just wasted 15 minutes. You need to be a little bit more concise, and I'm having a hard time with that. And I notice it with other players when they get to their turn, and it's like, did you not pay attention to the last 3 turns? This is all new information to you. You have the same cards in your hand +1. How is this so confusing for you to go through these lines? I know there's not that much that's confusing, but they're just crippled by choice, and there's just so many things they could be doing that better here, better here, better here. Sometimes you just got to move forward. So asking a person to make a game action, kind of pushing them along. I don't know.
What about you, Chris? What's your differences?
I think you define BSing pretty straightforward. Like, cool, I have nothing else to do, therefore I'm going to do this. Sometimes when you BS like that, you're projecting either weakness or power. And depending on that, sometimes when you don't need to speak and you speak, you give away your hand. I have nothing. Or I have everything. And based on your LGS, or if you go multiple turns, oh, he was BSing this entire game and had nothing. I'm going to go for it because he's still BSing. And I believe, when he did have something, he was quiet as could be. So it's like tells, right? I don't think BSing is always the best of ideas. Some people are just yappers. But there is a big difference, and I think explaining why you're not threatening or why you should draw those extra cards, Maddie, and seeing if it'll come through as BS. But if you're always BSing, no one's going to take you serious. And you project weakness more often than not. So I don't think it's advisable to BS, but really the definition between BSing is you're just yapping a yap. And the other one is you're explaining, this is my turn. This is why I should let this thing happen. Listen, I need this to resolve, and this is why I need this to resolve, because I'm trying to stop them. So yapping is the positive, and BSing is the negative.
Yapping because it's talking. It's more because
But they're both politicking.
They're both politicking. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I we have definitely been accused of like, oh, they're yapping too much. It's like that's what you have to kind of do in cEDH. Explain. I know this looks threatening, but I need to land a Seaborn Muse. Do you? You have nothing in your hand.
Yeah,
that's kind of BSing. There's certain cards that you play. It's like you can't get around getting a Consphinx down. Like, listen, I'm just going to draw 2 cards and then you can Swords of Plowshare it then.
You might be able to yap it and be like, hey, this Consphinx is going to land. I will only draw when you draw. I'll draw with you. That's it. I'm not going to draw on Adam's draws. I'm not going to draw on his draws.
I'm only going to draw, and I will reveal what I'm drawing to get a counterspell because he just looked or searched up Grim Monolith.
Yeah.
Right? Basalt Monolith, whatever, right? It's like I am doing this to answer him.
So the key is you really need to take something away from yourself. You have to sacrifice for the greater good. A couple of times I've done the same thing. Like I've played Seaborn Muse, and they're like, dude, that's way too good. I'm like, I have to untap to answer. Like, you could have not played the Seaborn Muse, and you would have had the mana to answer. I'm like, well, yeah, but I want to progress my game as well. So you have to. There has to be a back and a forth, and you have to look at the person that's going to stop you and figure out, like, look, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with this? I'll skip 3 untaps, but like I have to do something. I can't just sit here and wait with open mana and stop everyone.
So yapping normally is a give and take, where BSing
it's a compromise, right?
Yeah, whereas BSing is like I need it.
You can't be at BS, and you can try to cover it like, oh, this is going to help us. but it's so thinly veiled. That's where it's like, that's not right. That's trash.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion. But we can kind of come back to this yapping, which you, Chris, as a prime example, we kind of talked about this. You play Magda, you have to talk about it because people are so afraid of Magda because, well, Magda is terrifying. You can't. I'm not gonna. We can't deny Magda is not.
If you disrespect the deck, I'll find
Yeah,
my window and go off.
absolutely. And that, but there's too many people that overvalue wise. Oh, he's got Magda. He's gonna win. It's turn one, guys, and he literally Magda out with everything he had in hand. He's mulled down to what you have to talk about. And you've done it before. And there's times I will admit this. You've japped your way through, and next turn he wins. But it happened. It does happen. And I'll be like, no, stop it, Chris, stop, no. But right there, Chris, can you give us some good examples of your using your own yapping where you've been able to win through not just Magda but other decks you play? You play Kinnan, you play Magda, you play Zul'Doc, you play these decks that if you don't talk, people are like, well, I gotta kill it. You know what I mean?
You can't play billboard decks that say, I am an amazing commander. I do amazing things. It's out in the field. It's small. It's weak. You have to be able to do something to keep it on the board.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, especially like Bowmasters, like people are just like, oh, it's free value. What else am I going to kill? That's definitely a difficult one. For Yapping, it's I can get something to stop him. Until I go off. Before then, I need to make sure the game goes long. Cool. What do you want me to get? You get to go search for anything on the board to answer someone going off. What do you want? Let's go for it. It thins my deck. It stops. It gives me more turns. I'm a mono red control deck that can just kind of go off. The more artifacts are on the board, guess what? Those tap down. So I'm okay with grabbing. Cool. You don't want to kill Magda? That's awesome. That's fine. Let's do this. Yapping.
But you cover it right there. You're able to talk it through. You can talk people like, I will get the search piece you think will answer this. I will get the Torpor Orb because he's an ETB deck. I will get you literally, I think you answered. You're the prime example right there. You more often than not will walk people through Magda. I will search what you want me to search for. And most people are like, wait, what? And you don't. And I think that's impressive. I think that's a skill that most Magda players don't have.
Another option for that would be to like, listen, this is what I need to go off. I need 10 treasures and enough guts to go for it, and you all for you to tap out, or I need 5 treasures and an artifact dwarf and the guts. Like, you guys have to like disrespect Magda, so don't disrespect Magda. It's almost like do you pay the 1? You know what I mean? You got to keep that mana open. Like, kill Magda at someone's end step. I've seen that. There was a game where I was like, go to my untap. They both had a removal spell. I didn't have anything to do. I untap. I'm like, cool. I play a spell. They play a spell. They play a spell. And then I activate twice on top. I'm like, cool. You guys should have not let me untap. You should have talked and said, hey, you're scary right now. This is what I need you to do. Sometimes people don't yap enough to Magda, and I think that's like I think you can talk to most good Magda players. They don't yap enough to Magda saying, you're scary. I need you to do X, Y, and Z so that you're not so scary. Bet. Because the longer the game goes, normally Magda, with all the stacks pieces that are one-sided, is kind of a little bit better off. So definitely you can BS. You definitely can BS. Oh no, I'm just getting a value, roaming throne. It's like, okay, sounds good. There's certain cards that are less scary that you can get that people don't necessarily see. But that's certain decks you just have to yap more. Certain people yap more. Do you think yapping and BSing puts a target on people's head?
Well, I'll say one thing that puts a target on your head. We're kind of evading the whole thing is like out and out lying.
I was gonna get to that. I have a question.
So it was quite a ways into my very, very short career until I realized someone like straight up lied. Like, they showed me Swords to Plowshare to try to have me do something. 4 turns later, someone's like, hey, do you have an answer for this? He's like, no, I don't have an answer. You literally showed me the answer. It's in your hand. You haven't, like, you showed it to me. So after the game, with everyone around, I'm like, hey, so why did you do that? And he's like, oh, well, I didn't have to answer it. I said, no, but he asked you if you had an answer. You said no. You had showed me the Swords of Plowshare. Why did you do that? He said, well, because it's not something I needed to answer. Like, he didn't ask you if you needed to answer it. Why didn't you tell him you had an answer? And he just kept like evading it. And the player left, and I looked at the other two. I'm like, what was that? He's like, oh no, that you just straight up lied. I'm like, I know that's an
Was that
option.
me? Was that
but
me?
No, no.
Oh yeah. Don't take my button.
That was a curve lie, not a straight up lie. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
But it's like I will never listen to him. And in the rest of the game, he had no influence on me. No matter what he did, no matter what he wanted to do, all of his power was gone. All of his words were meaningless. He lost so much advantage, at least to me, and he'll never get it again in another game. Like I would just never believe him again. So all of his BS is flushed down the toilet. Like he's lost that trust.
So if you lie, it doesn't matter if you're BSing or yapping. It's all BS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes, like, I was asked what I tutored for in a game. Like, you know what? Actually, we'll do this and this, but you need to show us what you tutored for. I totally tutored for a win condition. I had 12 cards in my hand. I could have said I got something else. I didn't, and I said I don't want to show you what I got, but I'll still try to do this and this. And there's just, I think that there's a fine line there, and you've got to be careful because you can burn bridges pretty quickly. There's no reason to out and out lie or to BS to a point where it's like, well, I mean, I said that I wasn't going to do that. I don't know. There's ways that as a learning player, I hear people, I'm like, he worded that really well. And that was lawyer speak.
Oh, there's.
Oh, it's crazy.
And,
we have a game for that.
Matty here is a pro at saying the right thing. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, I didn't get anything out of that. He's like, yeah, because I said I wasn't going to do that, but I was going to do this. And it's like, oh, crap. Okay. This is a learning point for me that I need to know better how this is going to work. So you have emotional currency with all the players at the table, and you have to know when to spend it and when to burn it, because sometimes you're going to do something that is you're shutting off any ability to politic or to partner up with another player in that game, at least.
There's certain ways that people put themselves out there, and it's known throughout the group.
Yeah, and if you sit down at the game with someone, you're like, okay, I'm playing with this person. I already know what this is going to be like. I already know that I have to put up my barrier. I can't believe what they're going to say. I can't. If you're putting out a personality in a like that, it's not beneficial to you. Maybe you don't even know you're doing it, but there's politicking beforehand. I mean, you're sitting down with someone that you just can't. You know that the best interests of you are never at heart, even if it helps them.
Yeah, and that's one thing we always want to say. Like, no one has the best interest of you when you sit down. Like, they're not your friends here, but we are all trying to get the same point of winning. And I might have to rely on you to stop him, but doesn't mean I'm not going to stab you in the back if I can't.
Right, absolutely.
I'm not trying to take here, but that's the point of the game. We were trying to get there, and I think that's a great line of BSing. I'm going to say that, and it's so thinly said that you can look closely, and you're going to see that I already have the knife ready. Yapping, you don't feel me caressing your back, putting the knife in there slowly, and be like, oh, so nice.
And you can take the wisdom from your opponents, but don't take their advice.
Yeah,
is that a good way of putting it?
That's
they're going to tell you lots of great information about other people.
Hear them out. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, this is what this deck does. We're going to want to look out for this, this, and this. Don't then ask them if you should, show them, should I counter this? Should I counter this?
Yeah, use all your interaction right now, so I don't have to, so I can go off on my turn.
Yeah, so use it, please, so I don't have to burn anything. Good, okay, cool. Yeah,
skip priority to you. Go for it, bud.
Yeah.
I'm first pass. Pass.
I'll sandbag all my interaction for my win. That's fine by me. Please allow me to do that.
Okay, let's. So, do you have any bad examples? Have you? Because you're a new player, so I'm gonna use you as our punching board here. Have you trying to, because you're learning these new decks, you're playing some of the most powerful of the decks in the meta. You're playing Ken, you're playing Blue Farm.
Right.
You've looked at playing Tivit, you've played those before. How does it feel to try to yap your way when you don't know what you're yapping?
I have a really hard time when I've got all of the gas trying to explain how I don't have it. And I'm learning now that I need to focus more on win condition and interaction in Blue Farm, not just go for one. And a couple of times it's like I've got such a good hand. I'm going to be able to go off twice. I'm going to have protection. It's going to be great. Oh, I'm dead because I didn't get something else to go with that. So that's an internal problem. But I can't believe how many times people are like, "All right, Kinnan, what's your answer? What are you going to do to this? All right, Blue Farm, what are you doing?" It's like, how am I supposed to be the answer to everything here? Like, I'm also trying to do other things. I'm just not the deck with the counter spells.
I'm third in priority. What are we doing? What about you two?
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm playing Sledge Farm. You got an answer, dog. I don't got anything.
It really surprises me how new players get so excited to stop something that they'll be all the way around the table and someone does something. They're like, oh, I've got a fierce for that. Like, Cool.
I've been that person.
That's awesome. Like I know that's great. You were so excited that you've now revealed what you were going to do, and two people don't need to do anything about it. So learning, the priority is important, and sometimes when you don't have priority, that's a good thing for you. Forcing someone to go for it, and put the loss on the line if they don't have it as a tool that I'm learning how to use.
Okay. Well, what about, so another example there, like you're still learning to use. What if you notice someone, like you're playing a game, let's say it's me, Chris, you, and Z. We're jamming a game, and I'm yapping away. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I can land this rule of law. Chris all of a sudden suddenly starts following him, like, yeah, do it. And you look at the board state, and you're able to put together that he can do something. How do you call that out? Do you say something?
That's a really good way of putting it. So I have to decide if it's advantageous for me to be the only one that knows that something's going on. Maybe I know that I can stop what he's got going on. I would think that at some point I'd say something along the lines of like, all right, guys, Magnus getting some treasures here. What do you think that he's going for?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, yeah. If he's just going to burn the treasures just for fun, throw them up like confetti. Yeah.
I got 20 of them. Why not?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's when I want to lean into the other players, and I use that a lot to gauge what their personalities are like and kind of get their trust level, because this is something that we both are looking at, we're both understanding. Tell me about it. Tell me what's going on here. And then with how much they're giving me and how much they're trying to support, I will then use that later in the game to judge other interactions that they do. There's a lot that I know Chris and I in our past 1v1, you get 3 games with someone, you really learn a lot about them. You're watching how they're sideboarding, you're watching how they're shuffling, you're making assumptions across the board. If they're having difficulty shuffling, if they're looking around and they're kind of disheveled, they don't know what they're doing. Like there's a lot of things you can see, and you're like, okay, I'm going to use this in the game.
Blood in the water.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then you some people you feel like they're the shark, and I've been very nervous to play against some people, and it's doing that with 4 people is wild. It's wild. It's so different.
Do you still have that feeling now? Like, do you sit down with people and you're like, these are sharks?
Not as much, because the most impressive and terrifying people that I've sat down with to play against, I know at one point we're going to be allies. So it changes that interaction, that it's not just, I'm here to kill you, you're here to kill me, this is what's happening. At some point, it just feels more realistic, more balanced, more personal. I don't know.
No, that's fair.
So I think that really helps me when I'm playing with people that I would normally be very intimidated by, to know that we're going to be on the same team at some point. Not on the same team by any means, but at some point we're going to be
having the same objective to make sure that this person does not win, so that someone else can move forward and win. Yep.
Yeah.
So I asked him that question, Chris. I bet you reverse that. What if we're in a game and all of a sudden Adam's like, yeah, that rule log, land, that's fine.
It comes down to which deck you're playing, right? Am I playing a quick deck that once again, windows? Does this stop my window currently? Does it depends on the deck, like in what turn. There's so much nuance to that question entirely. Cool, that rule of law lands. Does it stop me? Does it help me? Am I playing Kinnan? I don't care if other people are doing their thing. You know what I mean? Like, cool, I'm just gonna flip Kinnan all day and eventually go off. Like, it really.
It nuance you. I think that answers it right there. It really depends. What deck? What are you playing? What's your window? What's the nuance? How can you get it?
If it gives someone too much advantage, then yes, I 100% say something. We talked about it at one point in time. The Relic of Legends, right? Like, you didn't tell him to not counter the Relic of Legends, right? With the
Mana Drain.
The Mana Drain, because it helped you win the game the next turn.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to catch myself because I was like, as just a proponent of like good, better play. I'm like, no, that's actually, oh man,
that helps me.
That's
so. Does that help me? Cool. Does it help me in the long run? Am I thinking in chess terms of 2 to 3 turns? Right? Is that going to harm me in 3 turns? No. Is it going to stop someone else from interacting? Trinisphere is a great example. Like, cool. Now I have to use up all my interaction. When I can just use one piece of interaction right here and make someone else use their piece of interaction. Whenever you're kind of like doing the yapping and whatnot, like if you have like 3 different pieces of interaction, cool. Using one and then saying, "Hey, I did my part." You know what I mean? I did my part. That meme or whatever, and like now you need to do your part, right? And that can kind of like sometimes you want counter spells come out of people's hands, and sometimes you don't because you want to be like, hey, I answered this. Now I don't have anything as far as you're aware. You should answer the next thing. So there's a little bit of politicking there for sure. So it's chess. It's chess. You're thinking turns ahead. Does that stop me? Does it stop someone else from interacting? If they like, hey man, I think there's an example where I'm like, hey man, you can't tap out right here, because you tap out, then it's just me with this one piece, and I believe he has a piece of interaction plus the win. And they're like, you know what? That's you're 100% correct. Cool. I'm not gonna play my 1 mana, artifact human. I'm gonna chill. I know it could draw me cards, but I'm not gonna have anything to interact with. Perfect. Cool. They untap. They leave their 1 mana open. Cool. I'll use my 1 piece. He'll counter it. Then he'll use his 1 piece to counter it, and then he doesn't win the game. Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks.
No,
so
the nuance.
The nuance. It really, really does, and it's almost an impossible question to answer. What deck am I playing? What deck are they playing? And that's why going through different mulligans and playing it against different decks is so important, because that answer could be different a million different times.
And definitely watching, sorry not to cut you off, but definitely watching someone play their line out. And I know I'm going to reference it over and over again. Having someone walk through it, even though I've got it here, walk them through it, make them show it, because they might think I'm going to use your example. You thought Commandeer would take the spell and put it back on top of the stack, and that would have been so great for you. But no, it just made your spell at the bottom of the stack. And so
I control that spell all the way up there.
Yeah, all the way over at the bottom. But
we'll get to tomorrow if we keep playing. Yeah, that was a good learning experience.
So,
the more I learn about cEDH and even Commander in general, just multiplayer format, this is the game. What we're doing with the cards is secondary. It really is. Like, you come with your deck. That's what we focus on all this information. We look at lists. We look at conversion rates. We look at this card. It's all spicy. When you sit down and you're playing and you're trying to win at a high stakes game, your local shop, or you're even going to a tournament, everything above the game is the actual game. It is. I've never, outside of going to time, I've never wanted my opponents to say less. Saying more, talking more, going over more, like at least learning. I made a huge mistake, mental misstepping something that was pretty irrelevant, and 5 1-mana spells went off and won a game. And if my opponents that were going to benefit,
game yesterday?
No, I didn't see it.
So Abby was talking about a game that she was in that I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago or something, or I don't know when it happened, but one of the players went to go do something, and she responded, and then someone to play a fish, and they got countered. And then the next person went to go play another fish, and they didn't get countered, and then they were able to get another heuristic off that other fish, and then they got a smothering off that fish. And it's like, okay, it's hard because it's like the
you don't know what they're going to draw.
That's what I mean. It's that butterfly effect, but it's like,
could be 12 lands.
She was talking about the way it happened, though, is like, if you would have let me get my fish,
sure.
I know this is let me get my thing, but it's
BS.
BSing. It's that borderline BSing and yapping. It's like, hey, I will show you what I draw, and I'll let it die this turn. I won't pay for it for a round. If you let it go for this round, so I can try to answer, like, if I'm in a pod and I can play, if I was playing my Thrasios Ishai deck, and I could land a turn 1 fish against a blue farm, a Kinnan, and a Glarb deck, and you're trying to stop it with your Kinnan deck, I'm like, dude, let me land this, and I can kill it on my next round, but I can answer these 2 decks. I'm going to slow these 2. Yeah, your Kinnan deck, you can't pop off, dog. And I'll draw one card off you, and I'll let it die. But we have answers for these 2. We could make that deal, but normal game bracket 4, you're not gonna be able to get that.
Another yapping like that is, say you mold out at like 4, and you have a turn 1 fish, and you're in like second seat. You're like, I'm not in this game. I have land, I have a bunch of high end stuff, and I have a fish. Like, listen, I have to get back into this game, otherwise you're 2v1ing. Do you want 2v1 or do you want 2v2?
Right.
So I think that's a really good spot of yapping. Is a good,
and that's what I mean. It's a weird borderline, and as a newer player, you might fall. No, not just you don't need a fish, but right here's the experienced players. He's at 4 cards. I can let it go, but you have to let it die this round.
You're going to be playing with newer players more and more,
and we're learning. That's what I'm saying. It's great to have you as a
absolutely. I'm the advocate for the new player
because test.
Yeah, I mean, I look, this game sat down. What I mental misstepped. I was scared. I'd never played against Magda. I had never played against Gitrog. And the player that left me, I don't even remember the deck because I was just so worried about these 2 things. And it was like turn 1 Soul Ring pass, and then or excuse me, Mana Vault. I missed the middle misstep on that. I'm like, oh, it's just mana. And then it was Automaton. I'm like, oh no, I know Automaton's scary. I gotta stop that.
Go for it.
Goes around. Gitrog monster just goes off. Just goes off. Sherm played it perfectly. It was in a tournament, and it was like I just looked at the mental misstep in the graveyard. I looked at the Putrid Imp. I looked at the crop rotation. I looked at all the stuff that I could have stopped, and I just wanted to look at the two other players and be like, dude, why didn't you guys tell me? where was the advice on what I should and shouldn't have been doing it? Nobody said anything. It was just like, okay, let's pass. Like,
That one's tough because like Automaton
I should have known better.
Automaton's scary, but like turn 1 Automaton, like cool. It's gonna take a couple more turns.
Right, and
I hate to say it, that ties back into our earlier episode. Is that toss into your irresponsible players? You stopped the Magnus Automaton. I hate to say, he probably got a little petty with you because you did that. So, you've never seen Gitrog. Maybe he sees Gitrog every week. Maybe he plays a Sherm every week. So he could have been like, oh, well, yeah, you could have stayed. You could have stopped 2 of Herman's win lines. There's that, and that's what I'm saying is like people being call back to our episode, but the irresponsibleness.
Yeah.
It's if you don't have that. And you don't talk about it, then it can throw games because you're now like, you guys, why didn't you say anything? Well, these guys, well, you did my thing. You didn't talk to me.
You're at a disadvantage if you're not respectfully talking to the other players when you see things that seem so clear to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't scream at them and tell them they're an idiot, but be like, hey, is there a reason you're doing this that I'm not seeing? Because I feel like this is the problem. If there's a different reason, I would like to know what you're seeing that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
And there's good ways of encouraging me. Like, well, I mean, I have the mana right now, so I'm just going to do it. Like, man, I really think that there's a better place for this.
I hate that. I hate that argument. That is.
I'm sorry, that's 60 card format.
It is.
It is. That is the arena 60 card format. Oh, I have the mana, I need to do it. But I think we've come to a point where we're very clear right there is it's BSing you're going to see no matter what. You're going to see that in bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3, bracket 4. But when you get to cEDH is you're going to see yapping. You are going to see, I need you to let my basalt
This is the
land.
game. This is the game.
Is there anything else you guys would like to cover on the politicking side of yapping versus BSing before we wrap this up?
Stay away from out and out lying, man.
Well, I'm going to get that's my end point. So
all right.
we'll get to that.
Great.
Don't lie. If you don't need to be speaking, if you don't need to be giving information that you think would be relevant to the table, there's no reason to really speak because you give away too much information of a strong or weak hand.
What's the thing the cops say when you get arrested? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you. So just if you're around the wind, dog, don't say anything.
I would say that if it's your personality to talk, try being quiet. If it's your personality to be quiet, try talking. Because there's a layer there that you're not using. And shutting up is something I need to learn. And sometimes it's been very beneficial to just sit back and watch things happen.
But Chris, do you have anything you want to add there?
No?
Okay. Well, you guys, it's been a wonderful time chatting with you. Remember, you guys at home, stay confident and not condescending. But before we head out, you guys, again, jump into our Discord. Come say what's up. Come post some deck lists. And you know what you can do? Every Tuesday, you can jump in and jam some spell table games with all of us here at Mind Over Meta. That is our new name here at Mind Over Meta.
Love it. Yeah, get some spell table games in, and we'll use them for reference on the
use them as
midweek.
reference.
From about 6 till 10 Mountain Time?
6 to 10 Mountain Time. We also, like he said right there, we're going to be trying to hopefully get some maybe recording games, so there's a chance that you get to see yourself on the channel, especially that way.
Absolutely.
Or I had a fun game with our friend or one of our buddies in our Discord, Ido, and I was trying to record it, but I had some issues with my camera. I couldn't get it to go, but he had a dope win. I wish I would have had it for him, and let me know when that's a chance you can get with us. Sometimes we're recording, we can, hey, did you get that clip? Yeah, man, I got you. We want to post that. We want to see that stuff. We want to talk about it because if you have something dope, send it to us so we can talk about it. But you guys remember, stay confident but not condescending. We'll catch you guys next week.
See ya.